Yes, welcome everyone to this brand new trade breakdown on gold. And right in front of me, I have the gold chart on the daily time frame. And today I'm going to take you along inside of the analysis we've placed yesterday inside of the premium community. I've shared two positions on gold, and today's the 25th of March. Yesterday was the 24th of March, obviously. And I'm going to just dive into it straight away, and I'm going to take you guys along in the analysis, the entry, and why we eventually took this position. So as you guys can see on the daily time frame, we're still quite bearish. We found some momentum now going upwards, but as of yesterday, there was no indication that price was going to go up. And on the daily time frame, I saw this level of demand, which have now turned into supply. So that we call that a swap area. And if we move over to the 4-hour time frame, because now we know we're bearish, still bearish, and in a bearish market we're only looking for sell opportunities, preferably. We don't look for buy opportunities because the risk is just too high, and in a very turbulent career as trading, you don't want to take unnecessary risk, and you don't want to take risk which will eventually end up blowing your account or losing significant amounts of your trading balance or portfolio. So if we move over to the 4-hour time frame, now we know that we're preferably looking for sell positions. We can start looking for areas of supply in the recent time frame to trade off. And in this region of the swap area, we don't really see much on the 4-hour time frame. So then I just scale down to the 1-hour time frame. And once we're at the 1-hour time frame, we can have a better look. So on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that we have this level of supply right here in the recent time and price action. And this is an area we could potentially trade off depending on how price reacts to this area. So now I've drawn my level of supply on the 1 hour, and I've placed my baseline in the middle of this indecision candle right here. And if I then delete the swap area, we can see that price comes to our level of supply and rejects. Price comes back, touches our baseline and rejects once again. And then price moves up again, and then we get the final rejection. And if we have to target a specific area in where we're going to take our profits, it would be this region right here. Because here we can see that we still have this swap area of supply which has not been respected. Price came back, reacted off this area of previous supply which have now turned into demand. And we don't want to over risk. So we don't want to go beyond the risk to reward ratio we have for ourselves, and that is a 1.2 to preferably a 1.3 risk to reward ratio. And if I then place my entry on the baseline right here and I target the baseline of this level, then we can see that we have a 3.2 risk to reward ratio. On the first position we've placed, we've targeted this baseline, and on the second position we've targeted right below the start of this zone. So if we then look at volume, for that I use the volume profile indicator, we can see that volume pretty much lines up with our area of supply right here. So we can expect that there's high volume coming in. And during this trade, we've also got in, and within an hour of waiting, price literally drops in seconds to our take profit. So that was a very quick one. And then when price reached again, we've entered again, and then price slowly came down after the momentum of a high volume. And as you guys can see, I have two indicators right here, and that is the 50% body candle indicator and the volume profile indicator. And those are the only indicators I pretty much use to analyze. And why I use these indicators to analyze is not because of any fancy trick or to see where I'm going to target or where I need to enter my position. It's just making it a bit easier for me to spot those indecision candles in order to draw my zones. So with that one, I just simply turn on the 50% body candle indicator, and then I can see all those indecision candles forming on the chart pretty much. And you can see that the body of this candle isn't white, while the other ones are all white. They have a white body. And because this one doesn't have a white body, that does not mean that the indecision candle isn't valid. And that's why I always tell my students inside of the community to not rely on indicators, because indicators might make you lose out on more than you're willing to lose. You can simply not take trades because your indicator didn't align with what you're using it for. So now make sure you rely on indicators whilst trading, and make sure you trade purely on price action only. So with that being said, I will just simply play back the price so you guys can see how we took this position eventually. And then for that, I scale down to the 15-minute time frame. Let me leave and replay it so we can see it properly. Also here you can see that the spike was like instant pretty much. And then we could have placed another re-entry. We didn't. We ended up entering here and targeting right above this zone. So let me replay the price so you guys can see what we've been looking at yesterday. So as you can see, we came out of this area of demand, first touch point, and then we had our first rejection. And then price kept ranging below supply pretty much. And then we had our entry, and then price dropped in an instant, targeting our final take profit. Then price came up back again from this level of demand, reached entry point again, and then price pretty much drops back. And here in a minute we get our second entry. Right here we had our second entry, and then we targeted right above this area. And when you see price breaks above supply, it pretty much retests and then it continues to the upside. And that was pretty much the analysis. And quick side note, when you have found your level of supply, how you can also indicate if it's a strong level of supply is when you scale down to the 30-minute time frame and the supply level still remains. You can still have the same setup pretty much of your indecision candle, your strong leg out, and if you then scale lower to the 15-minute, you can still see the same thing. When you have a multiple time frame analysis, you can pretty much spot these regions and these areas, and they indicate very strong probabilities. And also that matching with volume and being in the right environment. So when it's bearish, you only look for sell positions. You can have a very strong setup and analysis. Right here, we have once again the entries from yesterday. And I know you think, but there's a lot of exits, and there's a lot of exits because we take partials. We take partials to lock in profits and also to make sure we don't lose out on potential profits. Once we've hit our second target, we place our stop losses to break even, and with that we're able to secure our profits and not lose out on the profits we've already have running. And some people might think completely different of locking in partials, but I find it to be a very good way to secure profits and to stay consistent and profitable in the long run. So take it as a small side note, make sure you take partials. And if we look at the trades I've shared yesterday, so you guys can see that I actually shared those trades. You can see that we started off the day with the 24th of March, the first position right here. And then we had our second position right here. And you can see the take profit levels, and you can see the stop loss. You can see where I've personally entered. And today we had already a very successful day so far. The trade breakdown of those positions I'm going to share with you later today, if I get the opportunity to do so. And when it comes down to member profits of yesterday, there have been very nice profits made again by our members. And those profits varies of 145 euros, for example, before the morning even ended. I can't really read this name, but profits have been made. Then you had another member, Astronaut, making 1,600 euros on just these two single positions. Then you had another member making close to, 400 euros. His name is LVM. Inside of the community, we had AN making 1,000 euros right here. Let me pull up the name for you guys so you can see. AN making 1,000 euros. 600 euros made by Jordi, as you guys can see right here. Those exact positions all in the green. Name of the person in question. And I could go on for hours about member profits. Remco making 3,000 euros in just one single day. And that goes to show that you can actually be profitable. There can actually be communities where they share their positions, share their trades, in which you can actually make money. And that's something we all value inside of the community. We have been doing this for a while now, over 2 years. We've been sharing trades consistently. We've been sharing all our track records, all our weekly results. We all document these things inside of the community to show transparency and also to show that we're actually different in the industry, where there's a lot of people, trying to make money off of other people by simply selling them something or simply luring them into something eventually, which ends up them losing money in the long run. With that being said, that was the analysis for today. Hopefully I'm able to share the next position with you guys later today. And if you like these videos, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like these videos. And I think there's a lot of value you can take out of these videos. And then I will see you later today in the next breakdown. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe. And if you have any questions in regards to the strategy, make sure to drop it down below in the comments. If you want to get access to this community, it's completely free of charge. You don't have to pay me a single euro, dollar, pound, whatever you want to call it. So I'll see you inside then. And for now, thank you for watching.